There's something in the fish hobby that is 100% inevitable. It's going to happen, but you can decide how it's really going to affect you and your fish by how prepared you are. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the fish room. I'm Trent Wel-Don, the Wel-Don tanks, and unfortunately we have some sick fish in the fish room. Now it's, like I say, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Even with good preventative quarantine measures, things can still happen. Fish can still get sick. Something can still get in your fish room somehow, some way. And I'm going to talk to you tonight and show you how we're going to treat the fish and potentially what we're treating them for. So anytime I get new fish into the fish room, they go through an extensive quarantine period, and I use the medication trio by Aquarium Co-Op. Now that's the ICX, the Aeration, and the Paracleanse. Now it's changed over from the API to fritz. So these all the same medicines though. So it's going to be you're treating for ick, you're treating for bacterial and fungal infections, and you're treating for internal parasites. Now I use these as a preventative measure. Now, what does that mean, right? Like if the fish isn't sick, why am I treating it that way? Because there are some things you can't always see. Fish get stressed out when they ship. Fish get stressed out when you move them. Maybe you can't always see internal parasites, especially on a wild-caught fish. And sometimes things just happen. Maybe in shipping the fish got into a fight, they got banged up a little bit, there's a wound now that turns into a bacterial infection. All sorts of things can happen. And unfortunately, the daisy blue rice fish that I got from Seth with Because You're Fish, when I went down and did a tour of his fish room, they now have what I believe is ick. So even though I put those daisy blue rice fish through the medication trio as preventative, somehow they got ick. It looks like ick. And honestly, this is like one of the first times that I've actually seen visible signs of an infection on my fish in the fish room. So it's unfortunate, but we're prepared. We can treat it and hopefully save all the fish. Now the first step is actually identifying what you're going to be treating. Now if you notice, I say I think it's ick. It could also be something to the effect of like a fungus on the fish, something that may have come in on a plant, or there's so many ideas and options, I don't know where to begin. So that's the first step, is trying to identify what disease or what bacteria you're actually treating. Now that can be very difficult, especially if you don't have the years of extensive research and training to really identify what you're treating. And that's why the medication trio that Corey with Aquarium Co-Op has put together is so well done, and is why I use it, because it treats everything. Corey's done extensive testing that you can dose all three medications at once, no harm to your fish, no harm to your snails, no harm to your shrimp, no harm to your plants, and I've done that myself numerous times now. But the thing is that since I don't really know what it is, I'm gonna hit it with all three. That way, if there's still some kind of internal tapeworm, they'll get taken care of. If it is some kind of bacterial infection, a fungus, it'll get taken care of. And if it's ick, it'll get taken care of. Now, when using these medications, I recommend that you increase the aeration in the tank, because it will cause some bubbles to form on the surface. It's gonna you're adding something into the water, right? But then the other part of it too, people are gonna say like, oh, did I crank up the heat on the tank? I can't always do that because I don't run heaters in here. But this works. I've used this, but this is kind of my first time really going after something that's active. So again, it's all depending on how you are prepared for this. So what's nice about these medication trios as well is the ICX, you can dose it by milliliter, and if you pick up one of the Aquarium Co-Op shot glasses, all the measurements are on the glass on the side, super nice. So it's like 5 milliliters to 10 gallons of water, super easy to dose. And then you gotta be careful though, if you have a glass tank with clear silicone, it will dye that silicone blue. Just saying, if you have a really nice tank you care about, maybe have like a 10-gallon tank separate for quarantine. That's why 10-gallon tanks work perfect for quarantine. Is this entire medication trio, it really is set up for beginners with smaller tanks and much cheaper that way. You know, for the Paracleanse and the Aeration, it's 1 packet per 10 gallons. So you can buy these in boxes, and they come in individual packets. You know, so 1 packet per 10 gallons, super simple. And then I was very fortunate with it to already have most of that. Then Corey was very kind and is a brand ambassador. He sent me out one of their new larger sizes of the Aeration. So this is 60 grams, and this little jar will treat 1,000 gallons of water. That's like 10 times over my fish room. So I don't necessarily need all of that, but it's nice to have it on hand. Now, for somebody with maybe an individual tank, maybe a couple tanks, sure, you know, the boxes go a long ways. They actually do. But for me, and unfortunately, I'm hopefully not going to have to use this all the time for active stuff, but as I am bringing new fish in, putting them through quarantine, you know, this jar is definitely going to come in handy. So if you want to, check out Aquarium Co-Op for all your medication needs. Links will be in the description below. I recommend this, and I really think that we can get these daisy blue rice fish to pull through because I was prepared, thanks to Aquarium Co-Op, for having such a fine-tuned process for treating sick fish. So everybody, thank you so much for joining me. It's an unfortunate thing, but it's something that's going to happen in your hobby. So I hope this video helps you get prepared for when your fish do get sick, because it's going to happen at some point in your hobby. I used to think that it wasn't going to happen to me. It's happened to me. So now, because I have all the medication on hand, ready to treat this, I think we can save all the fish. So if you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. But also let me know your experiences using medications. Has it been a positive result for you? A negative result for you? Do you have a go-to? So I always learn from your comments. I always appreciate the comments. So leave me a thumbs up, and on your way out, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We'll talk to you guys on the next one.